All right, so let's talk about a thought experiment that, well, it's kind of famous for breaking people's brains. On the surface, it seems so simple, obvious even, but this one little choice has been sparking huge arguments between some of the smartest people on the planet for decades. Why? Because people are split almost perfectly, right down the middle, on what to do.
So let's put you right in the middle of it. Imagine this, a supercomputer, a machine that's almost perfect at predicting what you're going to do, makes you an offer. It's a simple choice, and it could make you a millionaire. So, what's your move? Okay, here are the rules of the game. In front of you are two boxes. Box A is clear. You can see there's a crisp $1,000 bill inside. It's right there. Box B, though, is a complete mystery. Now, here's the most important part. The supercomputer has already predicted your choice. The whole setup is done. The money is where it's going to be, all based on what it thinks you're about to do. And this is the rule that makes everything so tricky. The supercomputer explains how it works. If it predicted you would choose only the mystery box, box B, it put $1 million inside it. But if it predicted you'd take both boxes, well, it put nothing in box B. Zero. Zip. Remember, this thing is almost never wrong.
So you're standing there with two clear options. You can take both boxes, which guarantees you at least that $1,000 you can see, or you can walk away from the sure thing and take only the mystery box, betting that the million is inside. The deed is done, the money is either there or it isn't. Your move is the last thing to happen. What do you do?
And here we go. This is where the paradox really kicks in. It's where the arguments start, because there are two ways to look at this that both sound completely reasonable, but they lead you to do the exact opposite thing. The philosopher Robert Nozick really hit the nail on the head. He said that almost everyone who hears this problem thinks the answer is completely obvious. The funny part is, they disagree on what that obvious answer is. And that's the sign of a really, really good paradox. And this isn't just some theory. Check this out. A poll of over 31,000 people found that it's nearly a 50-50 split. The one-boxers just barely squeak out a win. So no matter which side you fall on, you're in good company. And you also think the other half of the population is crazy. So what are these two obvious arguments? Well, the one boxer trusts the evidence. They're looking at the track record, right? They're saying, look, the one boxers are all millionaires now, and the two boxers are walking around with $1,000. I'm going with the strategy that clearly works. But then you have the two boxer, who is all about cause and effect. They're thinking, hold on a second. The prediction is in the past. The money is either in box B or it isn't. My choice right now can't magically make money appear or disappear. So no matter what's in that box, taking both gets me an extra $1,000. It's literally free money.
See, these aren't just random opinions. They actually represent two major philosophies about how to make rational decisions. It all boils down to a fundamental question. Should you make choices based on the best evidence, or based on what you can directly cause to happen?
If you're a one-boxer, you're probably a fan of what's called evidential decision theory, or EDT. EDT basically says, do the thing that gives you the best evidence you're going to get a good result. In this case, choosing one box is powerful evidence that the super smart computer predicted you'd do exactly that. And if it did, that means the $1 million is waiting for you. Now, if you're a two-boxer, you're on team causal decision theory, or CDT. This idea says you should only think about what your actions can physically cause. Since your decision right now can't reach back in time and cause the $1 million to be in the box, you've got to maximize your outcome in the present moment. And in any world, whether the box is full or empty, taking both causes you to be $1,000 richer. And this leads us to the classic comeback, the ultimate playground taunt against the two boxers. The one boxer, with $1 million in the bank, just turns to the rational two boxer with her $1,000 and asks, hey, if you're so smart, why ain't you rich? It's simple, brutal, and honestly, a pretty good question. What's really wild is that even the philosophers who argue for the two-boxer strategy kind of admit this. They basically say, yeah, in this specific game, our rational choice makes us poorer. The game is rigged to reward what they'd call an irrational decision. So, in a way, the one boxers get the cash, but the two boxers believe they get to be intellectually right. I'm not sure which one I'd rather have. So why are we talking about this? Is this just a fun little puzzle? Well, not exactly. The strange logic of this problem shows up in some of the most serious, high-stakes situations you can possibly imagine. The core dilemma here is actually baked into things like the famous prisoner's dilemma, but its most terrifying real-world example, that would be the strategy of nuclear deterrence during the Cold War. It really makes you stop and ask,
What does it even mean to be rational when the stakes are that high? Think about the Cold War. By the 1960s, both the United States and the Soviet Union had enough nuclear weapons to destroy the entire planet many times over. So the big question was, how do you stop the other side from attacking when you know that retaliating would mean the end of your own country too? The answer they came up with was a strategy with the perfect acronym, MAD, for Mutually Assured Destruction. The idea was to pre-commit to something that seems totally insane. Total, world-ending nuclear retaliation, no matter what. After an attack, the rational thing to do might be to surrender and save who's left. But the only way to prevent the attack from ever happening is to be known as the kind of nation that would absolutely, irrationally push the button. So you see the connection? It's not about the choice you make in the heat of the moment. It's about the reputation you build beforehand. The supercomputer pays out to the type of person who would be a one-boxer. And an enemy doesn't attack the type of nation they believe would retaliate without hesitation. The best outcome comes from your commitment. And this leads to a mind-bending conclusion. Maybe true rationality isn't about making a calculation on the spot. Maybe it's about playing the long game. It's about deciding, way ahead of time, what kind of person you want to be. You should essentially wire yourself to become someone who naturally acts in a way that leads to the best results. For Newcomb's paradox, you choose to just become a one-boxer deep down, so that when the choice finally comes, the prediction about you was always going to be the right one. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. What is real rationality? Is it about applying cold, hard logic to the decision right in front of your face, like the two-boxer? Or is it something deeper, the act of shaping your own character and reputation so that the world and any predictive supercomputers you happen to meet end up giving you the winning hand? I'll let you decide.